Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Hari Om, friends. Welcome to this continuation online class, currently on the 5th chapter of the Bhagwad Gita. We had over 100 friends, many of them we know, many of them whom we do not know but who have joined us online. We have people not only from this city but from far off countries in different time zones. We are very privileged that we have the grace of the great Acharya, Swami Paramarthananda, who has given certain insights into understanding the Gita and the Upanishads. And a group of us assemble each day to bring out the message of a particular verse of the Gita. So we'll be studying some 8 verses from the 5th chapter, starting from the 9th verse onwards. And each of us, within a span of about 5 minutes, will have spent a lot of time to be able to bring the entire message what Swami Paramarthananda has given. So the opening speaker today is Shiv Kumar. Shiv, it's your time.
Shri Guru Bhyo Namah. These verses were explained yesterday also by Shamla. Coming into the verse, I will not be chanting the verses. The transliteration also all of us are aware of. So I'll start off. In the earlier verses, we learned that one who has realized Brahman knows that he is neither a karta nor a bhokta. Krishna emphasizes this in this shloka. Here, he gives a list of activities performed by the body, mind, and intellect, and explains that one who has realized Brahman knows and also asserts that he is not doing anything, and all these activities are happening automatically through the body, mind, and intellect. Gnanis of both ashramas, that is, Grihastha and Sannyasashrama, are detached, devoid of abhimana, filled with love and compassion. They know that they are a karta and a bhokta, but allow their body and senses to function as they need to in their dharmic vyavaharika jivana with pure intent to provide relief to the ignorant, suffering, and confused society. A gnani's pancha gnanendriya karmani, as detailed in verse 8, Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sparshan, Jigran, Asnan, that is, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, Swasan, even breathing, in and out, and Swapan, sleeping. And in the verse 9, the karmendriyas are detailed, that is, Pralapan, talking, Visrajan, excreting, Grinan, grasping, Unmishan, opening of the eyelids, Nimishan, closing of the eyelids. All these actions will continue automatically even after attaining Gnanam. The self or the higher I is a witness of all these actions for a Gnani. Gnanam brings about a radical attitudinal change towards life situations of a Gnani. The Agnani, whereas the Agnani thinks that he is the doer. Only a Gnani truly knows that he is not the doer. When Indriyani, the sense organs, Vartante, interact with Vishaya, the sense objects, the sense organs will produce the stimuli or sensations. Tattavit, that is a Gnani, being yukta, alert to these sensations, he asserts manyeta. Such a Gnani knows that aham naiva kinchit karomi. The lower I is insignificant and negligible in front of the higher self. Shankaracharya in his commentary mentions that a Gnani is he who knows the nature of the self, who sees the supreme reality. The duty of the man who, knowing the truth and thinking rightly, sees only inaction in actions in all the movements of the body and senses. consists in renouncing all actions. For he sees absence of action. This was also brought out beautifully by our Dr. Hegde, sir, in his recent talk, where he mentioned of a gnani, stating that I am aware that I took a small breath, I am aware that I took a medium-sized breath, I am aware that I took a large breath. Friends, I conclude this presentation with this thought of Sri Shankaracharya, to be in the world, but yet to remain untouched by it. Hayo.
Thank you, Shiv Kumar, for a nice and a clear explanation. And this is going to be the theme of the next set of verses, where each of us have to realize that there are two aspects in all of us. There is one is the karta, bhokta, the lower I, and the other is the higher I. Whenever I operate from my lower self, there is always anxiety, stress, tension. And whenever I operate from the higher self, I seem to be doing, many things happen to go around me, even though I really do not do anything. Prakash, it is your time to deal with the next verse.
Guru Charana Kamleebhyo Namah. Am I audible?
Very clear. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. The shloka is Brahmanya adhaya karmani sangam gatyatva karotiya lipyatena sapapena padmapatram vimambasa. Here we are dealing with the karma sannyasa yoga. Basically, it is the navigation which we call it as GPS, but I here want to name it from the Gita as LPS, Life Positioning System. We are here to position ourselves right in the right way, for which the Guru is not only doing the Agya, he is giving us the Pragya to do it. Now, if we take our vehicle, our physical body is the car, the Viveka is the driver, and the man himself is the engine, the Atma is the fuel in the body. Here Arjuna is in a dilemma and he is asking for a sadhan from Krishna. So, because we have a pressure in our lives that we are living today, we have always asked for more. Dil mange more. Always ask for more. We have always added. And today, the scenario is everything is shut. But we are much happier. We are reaching much more peaceful. We are feeling much more different, which will again show us in the nearby future. Here, we know that we want, but we are seeking for the direction, because we have to achieve the right things in the right time. Now, coming to the shloka, one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. We are dedicating karma into the worship that we do. Our karma has to be converted to worship, and therefore I will get what I deserve, not what I desire. Sarvani karmani brahmani adhaya. Attitude towards my karma phalam, are in two types. One, we go to the temple, we do japa, yagna. It's called the Pancha Maha Yagna, Nitya Karma. The second one is the Sakam Karma. The Sakam Karma is Kamya Karma, which we offer and we receive as prasadam. Just like we buy something new, we wear something new, we present it in front of the Lord, we eat something, we offer it to the Lord, but it is prasadam. There it is the Kamya Karma, Sakam Karma. We are supposed to do Nishkam Karma. Nishkam Karma Vishaye Purnataha Ishwar Arpanam. In all manners, in all manners, we are supposed to Purnatara, we have to Arpan. Ishwar ko Arpan karna hai. In other words, Shastra Vihit Shubh Karma. Shastra Vihit Nishkam Bhav se Shubh Karma karte rehna chahiye. Sangam Tyaktva. Give up the anxiety regarding the future. We are always bothered about the future. So Sangam Tyaktva, give up the anxiety regarding future. That is the biggest problem which we are facing as the Grahastha. Therefore, what are the benefits? It's called Sa Papena Lipyate. Even if there are defects in my action, they will not affect the soul. Therefore, be like the Padma Patram Ambasa Eva. Padma Patram Mimambasa. Grahastha is amidst a lot of problems. We, the people who are the Grahasthas, are living with a lot of problems always. But we are supposed to live like the lotus leaf, which is unaffected and is ever smiling, though it is having the astitva of water, but it is untouched and it is not affected by it. There are highlights given by Swamiji from the Mandukya saying Sarvam Hetad Brahma. From the Mundaka, they say Tasmad Etat Brahma. Nama Rupa Manam Cha Jayate. From the Gita, we have Mama Yonir Mad Brahma. From the Gita, again, we have Sangatva Sanjayate Kamaha. Hari Om.
Thank you, Prakash, for a nice explanation of this mantra, to be able to work in the world, but not to be affected by it. And that is the skill in action. Dr. Divakar, it is your time. Please go ahead.
Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Am I audible, sir?
Very clear. I think we need not confirm. Please go ahead. If there is a problem, I will tell all subsequent speakers.
Right, thank you. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindrayairapi yoginah karma kurvanti angam tyakthyatma shuddhaye. Now here yoginah means karma yogi. Now karma yogi, karma kurvanti. So he does the karma. Why does he do the karma? He does it for atma shuddhaye. Atma here means mind. For chitta shuddhi, he does the karma. And how does he do these karmas? What are the means that he uses to do these karmas? Ayena, manasa, buddhya. So these are the three things which are mentioned here. Swamiji explains that Shastras gives us a lot of options on how we can do our karmas, how we can perform our karmas. We can do it through actions, which is kaika karma. We can do it through the words, which is vachika karma. And we can also do it through
What did you take it as? What did you take it as?
And also buddhya. So buddhya is intellect. We can also do vichara karma. So through the intellect as well. Now Swamiji emphasizes more on the kayika karma. So he says that by nature, we all are tamoguna pradhana from our birth. In order to come out of the tamoguna, we need the kayika karma. So Shastras, it is said that alasyam hi manushyanam sharirasto mahan ripuhu. Ripuhu is the enemy. The biggest enemy for all of us is our laziness itself. We all have recognized it ourselves when there is a break in the exercise or yoga. It is so difficult to restart again because of the tamoguna. So to come out of this, we need the kayika karma. But for some reasons, we are not able to do kayika karma. Shastras allows us to do vachika karma, which is through nama japa, parayanam, teaching. Tomorrow we are going to study about Taittiriya Upanishad. There it says swadhyaya pravachanecha, which means you're allowed to teach. That is one of the vachika karmas. Then manasa karma refers to all the upasanas and the meditations. Now, the options are given. I mean, this is mentioned in other context also in the chapter 9, verse 26. Patram pushpam palam thoyam yome bhaktya prayachati. So you can offer me either leaves, fruits, or flowers, or even water. But what is important is the underlying bhakti. Likewise, even though there are multiple means of doing karmas, what is more important is the attitude of doing the karma. Now, how does this yogi does this karma? So, Sangam Tyaktva is already explained by Prakash earlier. Here, the most important word is the Kevalaihi. Kevalaihi means Abhimana Varjitaihi, without identification. I just want to elaborate this particular one. That's the most important word in this particular verse. So, we all identify ourselves with all the actions that we do. So if there is an action, either there is a success or a failure. Sometimes the success is so subtle that we don't even recognize. That success invariably leads to a sense of accomplishment. And with that, our ego starts to build, and that can lead to arrogance. I'm just taking my own example here. So if I'm presenting this, and if there is a very good feedback given by sir or others, I may be at risk of I will be at risk of, I will be getting some amount of accomplishment for having done this verse very well. and that could lead or add into my own ego, and perhaps it could lead to a spiritual arrogance. So likewise, if there is a failure, people are either blaming others or they blame themselves. That could lead to anger and sad. So now, sir keeps repeating this phrase: nothing succeeds like success, and then that goes on to explain further: nothing fails like success. So managing success becomes far more important, the Shastra says, than the managing failures. So according to the Laukika Drushti, our Western psychology, appreciations are okay, reinforcements are okay, but according to the Shastram, even these appreciations need to be handled very carefully. We should remember that we are just the conduits or the instruments to deliver everything. For example, here Indriyaihi is used. We have the special sense organs, karmendriyas. None of them are actually under our control. The only thing which seems to be in our control is perhaps our intellect and the thought. Rest of it is all automatically happening. I just want to take an example of a surgeon operating. He's operating using instruments. So here Krishna clearly explains that surgeon himself is an instrument. You should think that he's a bigger instrument who is operating through the grace of the God. So he's doing all of this for Atma Shuddhaihi. In the next verse, it's talked about the Ananda Swabhava, Ananda as a phala from the Karma Yoga. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Devakar, for doing full justice to this mantra, and also to be able to highlight when you're studying a mantra, what are the important words that you need to focus on. And very often, sometimes much later when you forget this, but you will be able to get the whole message by working on those key words in each mantra. Venkatesh, it is your time. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Gurubhyo Namaha. Yuktah karmapalam tyaktva shanti mapnoti naishtikim. Ayuktah kamakarana phale sakto nibadhyate. This 12th shloka is the last one in the second part of Karma Sannyasa Yoga, which describes Sankhya Yogi and Karma Yogi, their glory. After this, from shloka 13 to 26, Krishna shifts to Dhyana Yoga. Dr. Devakar beautifully explained in the previous shloka, and he gave a prelude to this shloka also about handling of appreciation and depreciation. In the previous shloka, we saw yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyakta atma shuddhaye. Yogis do karma only for the sake of atma shuddhi without any sort of attachment. Now in this shloka, we are going to see what happens to such a nishkama karma yogi, and also what is the fate of karmi. First, let us see the pratipadartha of this shloka. Yuktaha, the disciplined person. Karma palam tyaktva, renouncing result of action. Shanti mapnoti, attains peace of mind. Naishtikim, born out of discipline. Ayuktaha, the undisciplined person. Kama karana, due to impulse of his desire. Phale sakto, attached to the result. Nibadhyate, and hence totally bound and caught in the web of samsara. What Sri Krishna is trying to explain here is, in this beautiful verse, is that both Karma Yogi and Jnana Yogi get peace of mind. But the difference is that the peace attained by Karma Yogi is relative peace, which is required to get into the path of Jnana Yoga or Jnana Marga, whereas the peace of mind attained by Jnana Yogi is absolute peace of mind. So thus, Karma Yoga is like first aid and Jnana Yoga is main treatment. First aid is absolutely necessary to save life, but it is only first aid and needs a main treatment. In spiritual sadhana, Karma Yoga is first aid and Jnana Yoga is main treatment. And therefore, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Yuktaha Shanti Mapnoti, meaning a Karma Yogi gets the benefit of peace of mind. The benefit he gets is the peace of mind. Nowadays, we have heard people saying, I have everything in life except peace. So, money, bungalow, car, AC, family, etc., all can provide physical comforts, but not mental peace. Karma Yoga and only Karma Yoga alone can help us in first stage to get Shanti or peace of mind. And how did that Yukta get Shanti? That is Naishtikim, which is born out of his Karma Yoga Nishtha. What is the mechanism? What is the technique? It is Sangam Tyaktva. He has dropped his concern for Karma Palam. Karma Pala Sangam Tyaktva means giving up anxiety of Karma Palam. Our future can become or it can become our assistant. If you are thinking of future for planning, then future is useful to us. It will make us efficient. If you are thinking of future and worry, it will become a burden and make me deficient. Conclusion is, future for planning will make me efficient and future for worry will make me deficient. Similarly, past also. Past can be used in two ways. When I use past for regret, it becomes a 24/7. Try to learn from past mistakes, I become wiser and efficient. Yukta or Karma Yogi uses his past as well as his future very intelligently and therefore sheds his concern for results of his action. As such, failure is not burden for him. His present is also very peaceful. Now let's turn to the Ayukta or Karmi means. Ayukta means one who is not karmi. He does not know how to use his past to his advantage. One mistake, one failure, he will blame the past. A couple of mistakes, he becomes a fatalist. He becomes a pessimist. For everything, he fingers at Vidhi. Ayukta is one who is a pessimist and is full of anxiety about future. He refuses to understand and believe that life is full of risks. What should he do? Should he go to LIC or to cover his life and GC to cover his property? What he doesn't understand would be a better has himself declared चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्. And therefore, the ayuktaha, worrying about his future, always due to kama karanam, due to his impulsive desire, phalasaktaha, gets attached to the outcome and result of action, and hence nibadhyate, totally bound or caught in the web of samsara. And hence Arjuna tells Krishna, don't be a karmi, but be a yuktaha or karma yogi. Be a karma yogi and enjoy the internal peace. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thanks, Venkatesh, for a nice sharing of this mantra. The Bhagwad Gita itself is beautiful. When explained by Swami Param, it becomes so much more beautiful. And when each one of you have taken so much pains and presented in a very crisp manner, it is very enjoyable to listen to each one. We go to Radha. Radha, it's your time.
Hari Om. Thank you, Venkatesh Prasad. You made my words very easy and simple. The keywords the key word in your words happens to be naistikim. You so beautifully said from 13th words, we move from karma to jnana. In the context of the 12th verse that you did, naistikim means having peace of mind because of jnana nishtha. So this becomes a transition word for the next few verses. When you have peace of mind because you are anchored in the truth, this is a very big, very heavy word. So let me go to my words. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyasthe sukham vashi navadware pure dehi naiva kurvan na karayan. Sorry. So here the key words is vashim. Somehow I seem to be getting all the sannyasi verses for some reason. And vashim means somebody who has got everything under his control. Many times we hear this word vashikarana shakti. That means he has got some power in him whereby everybody is listening to him and is involuntarily coming under his control. Here vashi means a person who has got control over his mind and indriyas. Such a person is also referred as jitendriya. So he is won over and he's got control over these things. Now sarva karmani. So such a person who has got control over his indriyas and manas, what does he do? He gives up all the actions, all the karmas. What are all the karmas that he gives up? All the nitya karmas, naimitya karmas, kamya karmas, nishiddha karmas, all karmas. Can he actually give up all the karmas when he is living in the world? No. Because there will be some action, some karma as long as we live in the body. Then what does he give up? Here there is another beautiful word, nyasa. Nyasa means many of us who are used to doing some kind of upasana. When we do nyasa, we place the certain devatas or the syllables or the mantras in different parts of our body. Nyasa means keeping the thing where it belongs. Sannyasa means this person has kept everything where it belongs rightfully. That means he has sorted out things in his life. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasyaste sukham vashi. He has given up the doership of all these karmas and happily he is sitting. He is sitting happily where everything has come under his control. Another word here is Dehi. Dehi is somebody who is the indweller of something. Where is such a person living? A person who has got his indriyas and mind under his control. Where does such a person live? Such a person also lives in this body. Now, how is this body? Like everybody's body, this body has been described as Navadware Pure. Navadware Pure Dehi. Such a person who has given up everything, who has got control over his indriyas, stays in the 9-gated community. What are these 9 gates in the human body? 7 of them are in the head region. That is the 2 eyes, 2 ears, the 2 nostrils and 1 mouth. These are the 7 openings. And down below 2 openings for the excretion. He lives in such a gated community or a town. But everybody else also lives in a body which has got Navadware. So what is the difference between that person and this person? Here the verse beautifully says, this person is Manasa Sannyasa. He has given up everything and he lives in such a way that he thinks that this Navadwara Pure is a guest house for him. His own body is like a guest house and he's a guest in this body. But for all the others who have not got this jnana, they continue to think that this body-mind complex itself is what they are. This person conducts himself in the world as if he is taking this body as a temporary abode for himself. And such a person is neither acting nor causing anybody to act. He understands that he is an actor in this drama of life, but he never forgets that he is only acting. He is only an actor. And this is how he lives. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for a nice explanation, giving also the key word that we need to focus on, and also to constantly remind ourselves that we are living on a borrowed body. We are temporarily using this body to be able to interact. We go to the next speaker, Neeta. It is your time to start.
Gurubhyo namaha. Na krititvam na karmani lokasya shijate prabhu na karma phala samyogam swabhava astu pravartate. From the beginning of today, Shiv Kumarji said that the Atma does not do any action, and it's the body-mind complex which does the action. And we must give up the sense of doership. That's what we've been talking about. Again, in this verse, it's the same thing. This verse is an explanation of line 2 of 5.7 actually. And again over here, it says the Paramatma, there is no action. Because why? It is Sarvagatam and it is Nirvikara. So for any action, there has to be some movement, or it has to, there should be some change. And the Atma is all pervading and is Nirvikara. Then who is responsible? It is the body-mind complex. How? Because of its very swabhava. This can be given, explained with an example. Like electricity, it blesses all the gadgets, and it doesn't make the radio produce the sound or the fan rotate. What makes the fan rotate and what makes the radio sound, make the sound? It's the inbuilt nature of the radio, or it's the inbuilt nature of the fan that makes it rotate or makes the sound. They do differently, completely different things, but it's because of the electricity which just shines through them, which goes through them and blesses them. So that is the swabhava of the gadget, or it's the swabhava of the body-mind complex. Why the body-mind complex? Because of our ignorance, we identify with this body-mind complex, and we think we are the doers, but it's really the body-mind complex, which I explained through the example. And these actions, who's responsible? Because in this body-mind complex also, because of these actions, it's the gunas. The very nature, the innate nature of the body-mind complex are the gunas. The gunas will be explained in chapter 14 in detail, but we all know that we have 3 gunas: tamas, rajas, and sattvic, and they are in different combinations, and they can make infinite combinations. Just like the example of coffee, sugar. When we make a coffee with coffee, sugar, and milk, you know, everybody makes their coffee differently. Everybody's coffee tastes very different. It's the 3 things, but everybody's coffee tastes different. Same way, the gunas are just 3, but we can make infinite combinations, and that's why there are different actions that happen because in the body-mind complex. What is a one second. The 3 gunas determine what kind of thoughts we are having, what kind of actions we are doing, what kind of emotions we are having. If we understand this, we will really be able to, divide ourselves and move away from the body-mind complex and identify ourselves with the Atma. These 3 gunas are binding us to the world, and the saint does not do his saintly. The saint does his saintly actions, and the criminal does his criminal actions. The light that shines upon them is not to be blamed for either, to be blamed or to be praised. The same way, the Atma does not do any action, does not bear any karma phalam, or does not have any sense of doership. Our goal then is to eliminate the tamas. The tamas makes us inactive, does not keep us motivated, and is born out of ignorance. Refine our rajas. What is rajas? Rajas is the selfishness that we have to be always doing things for ourselves, and keeps us restless. And we want to establish ourselves in sattva. That is what is going to help us to identify ourselves with the Atma. The sattvic qualities are that he is lokhit, he does work for the larger population, he does nishkam, he has no self-interest in it, and he's highly driven and self-motivated. So that is what, when we have established more of the sattva in us, we will be able to get the wisdom that is there in the Bhagwad Gita and in our scriptures. Again, the sense organs are going to be bound and get attracted to the sense objects. We cannot perfect, this moving away from these samskaras and these things. But what we can do is to improve the sattvikta in ourselves and identify that we are not the body and we are the Atma. Thank you.
Thank you, Neeta. You've done full justice to this verse, giving nice examples and bringing all additional points that you told us about the gunas and how the gunas make you do whatever you do.
The key word was swabhava in this.
Swabhava. Thank you. Thanks. We go to Mamta. for the second last verse of today. Mamta, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. You can hear me, right?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Chanting the verse.
She has to unmute herself.
Yes, sir. It is. You can hear me now. I had unmuted. I think by mistake I might have muted it. But can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead, please. Start.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So chanting the verse, Nadatte kasya chit papam nachaiva sukrutam vibhuhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. So literal meaning is, the Atma takes neither the papam nor the punyam of anyone. The individuals are misinformed or deluded because the knowledge of the higher self is covered by ignorance. In this verse, Krishna says, Vibhuhu, that is Atma, is one that kasyachit papam na adate, neither takes any papam done by anyone, nor nacha eva sukrutam, nor does Atma acquire any punyam. So it is free from samsara. Swami Param further adds, just as space does not get wet when there is rain, and the space does not get burnt when there is fire, in the same way, the consciousness, like space, is not tainted by papam and it is not improved by punyam either. This can be misleading. Swami Param relates with an example about a criminal who did a crime. When tried in the court, he quoted, I have not killed anyone and therefore I should not be given any punishment. In my presence, the body did the action. So do not punish me. Dissecting this further, why do we identify with the body when you are punished and complain about the consequences of the action? So it is clear that at the body level, karma is there, karma phalam is there, and therefore laws of karma will function. I have to own up my punya and papa. In the next part of the verse, which is ajnanena avritam jnanam, Krishna is referring to Atma, my higher self, the consciousness. Atma is different from physical body, mind, otherwise known as ego. The ignorance of my higher self, that is consciousness, results in identifying with our lower self, that is the body, mind, and hence subject to all the suffering. What is the cause of all these sufferings? Krishna says it is the deha abhimana, that is body identification, and calls them moha or delusions, that is jantavaha muhyanti. Another viewpoint of the shloka goes like this. I paraphrase, God is not responsible either for anyone's punya or papa. God's work in this regard is threefold. First is he provides the soul with the power to act. Then once we have performed actions with the power supplied to us, he notes our actions. Lastly, he gives us the results of our karmas. One may ask why God granted free will to the soul. It is because the soul is a tiny part of God and it possesses his qualities to a minuscule extent. God is abhijna swarat, which means supremely independent, and so the soul also possesses a tiny amount of independence to utilize its sense, mind, and intellect in the manner it wishes. Shankaracharya also tells in his Manisha Panchakam, I am that Param Brahma, which has created the whole universe and which has created this small physical body also. I have chosen to come down and identify with this body to play a drama. In fact, we are all avatarams of Lord. To conclude this verse, the individual soul has the freedom to perform good or bad actions by its own free will. That free will can be used to attain moksha or contain in this drama called Punarapi Jananam. Continue in this drama called Punarapi Jananam. Our problems are related directly to the ignorance of Atma, and only solution is gaining the knowledge of the same Atma or Atma Jnanam. Thank you.
Thank you, Mamta, for a nice explanation of a very important verse of the Gita. You always make us feel good by helping us to realize that we are not ordinary human beings, but extraordinary beings. We are not creatures who are suffering, but creators. We have chosen to come into this body, and therefore, the second line, which is quoted so often, if at all you are suffering, it means you have identified with your lower self, you have forgotten who you are. And so again and again, from the teaching verse, which begins in the 11th verse of the second chapter, where Krishna addresses Arjuna, if you are suffering, there is only one reason, is because of ignorance. And this mantra has to be remembered all the time. See, this whole verses seem to be repetitious, but it is, if the Gita, if we have really understood, our lives should be transformed. And at any time in the day you're feeling a little low, that means you have identified with the body-mind complex, and that the real you has been covered by ignorance. The Maya Shakti has overwhelmed you. We come to the last verse of today, and that is Bhaskar, it's your time.
The sloka goes like this: Jnane tu tat ajnanam yesam nasitam atmavah tadam adityava jnanam prakasiyat tat param. The translation of the verse is like this: whereas for those whose ignorance of the self is destroyed by knowledge, and this knowledge reveals the self and Brahman, like the sun reveals objects previously covered by darkness. Knowledge is a tool which helps you to remove ignorance. Here, ignorance doesn't mean that you don't have knowledge, but it means you have knowledge, but you do not know it. It is like the sun dispelling darkness. The sunlight does not create anything new. Similarly, dispelling ignorance by knowledge of the eternal essence does not create anything new. It also reminds us of the true nature of ourselves. But why does Krishna emphasize knowledge so much quite often? Because the crux or the central theme of Bhagwad Gita is removal of delusion. And the root cause of delusion is ignorance. This ignorance makes us live in a surreal world of identifying our body-mind intellect complex. All our efforts must be towards uprooting ignorance through correct knowledge. This is a privilege of only a cluster of jignasu, since the majority of the population or people are embroiled in worldly pursuits and not interested in godliness or godhood. Generally, everybody wants respite from pain, stress, ill health, financial turmoil, etc. Sri Krishna has a panacea to remove this. That is, remove the ignorance. By this, once again, we regain strength, clarity of life, confidence to handle life, and obtain peace. But all this needs effort. Knowledge of the self has two ailments: vikshepa, that is the agitation, and avarana, the shrouding of the atma. For that, the appropriate example is long before the sunrise, darkness eliminates. That is, Aruna, the sun charioteer, has arrived. And then sun automatically follows. This itself again shows that Atman reveals self after ignorance is destroyed by knowledge. Ajnana, ignorance here, is not absence of knowledge, but is appraised or to knowledge, opposed to knowledge. And ignorance has the status of existence as long as it lasts. In the wake of knowledge, ignorance ceases to exist. Ignorance has bhava, and existence causing problems and errors. This familiar example we deal in Vedanta is the snake and rope. Knowledge destroys ignorance, just as ignorance of pot can only be destroyed by pot and not the knowledge of cloth. Similarly, the ignorance of Atma can be destroyed by the knowledge of Atma alone. The analogy between the sun and knowledge must not be misunderstood. It must be properly understood that knowledge that lights up the self because does not light up the self, because the self itself is light. Swayambhati. You could say that could be self-effulgent, like the sun. Knowledge is vritti gnana. Vritti means thought. Hence, that ultimate vritti, aham brahmasmi, the tattva should be the outcome of going through the shastras. The answer to that is we are privileged sadhakas, and of course, all this we must have the grace of God. Here, something relevant to this verse is Swami Chinmaya's episode. Once Swami Chinmaya's student and the student complained, Swamiji, for the past 3 days, it's been very cloudy and we've not seen the sun and we had to switch on lights in the house. Then Swamiji asked, how did you know that it's dark outside? Did you put a torch to see the clouds? No, the student said, no, Swamiji, I know. And how do you know? The student replies, yes, Swami, the light of the sun has fallen on the clouds and we were able to know that was cloud. So Swamiji laughed and he asked, do you know Atman? No, Swamiji, I do not know Atman. Then Swamiji asked, how would you know that you don't know? So that was something bewildering. So Swamiji said, when there is total consciousness, super consciousness, that shows that you know that there is, you're conscious of that particular moment that you do not know. So that itself is something so relevant to us in this verse. Thank you, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Thank you, Bhaskar, for giving a nice explanation of this important verse, which is talking about the importance of Atma Jnanam. Why are we studying day in and day out the Gita and the Upanishad? So that we get a deeper understanding, a real knowledge of our true nature, and thereby all sorrow may be destroyed. And that is the real purpose. With that, we conclude today's class. We have come to the end of the 16th chapter of the Bhagwad Gita. A reminder that tomorrow we will be studying the Shiksha Valli of the Taittiriya Upanishad. And in one class, we will be completing the entire Shiksha Valli. And if this class has to be important and if it has to be very clear for all of us, the important exercise is that we go through Swamiji's notes. We will try to give Swamiji's audios also on that email group so that you may be able to listen to his talks primarily on the talks of the second chapter, that is Brahmananda Valli. With that, I'll formally close today's class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.